Hello folks, this is Sullla once again. Welcome to another video for League of Legends. Today, and for the next couple days, we're going to be doing sort of a special 3-game set here for the Christmas holiday. We actually had Team Solo Mid queued up for ranked 5s just yesterday as I record this, and they ended up playing Team LMQ in the ranked 5s matchmaking system. This is the team that you're seeing here. LMQ is a Chinese team that's come over to North America and is trying to break into the North American LCS in the next upcoming split. Not for the spring split, but for the summer split. And they ended up playing one another in ranked 5s. They actually ended up playing a set of 3 matches against one another. And that's what I'm going to go ahead and look at these. I've got the replay here as we go back to the beginning. For whatever reason, these replays never start at the beginning. I don't quite understand why that is. But we're going to watch this 3-game set. I'll do the first game today. I'll put up the second game tomorrow. And the third and final game I'll put up on the 25th for a little Christmas present to people on the channel. And we even have some of the Christmas skins here, like Wild Turtle is using Ernest Elf Tristana, and Bjergsen is using the Santa Gragas. I don't know if we have any of the Christmas skins on the Chinese team, on Team LMQ. No, it doesn't look like it. So I have not seen these games. These are going to be live, basically, for me. I don't know what happens. I just have grabbed the replays. That's it. I have not had a chance to sit down and watch them yet, but I heard these were very good matches, and that Team LMQ is actually quite good. I don't know anything about them being a Chinese team, but I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to happen, and it should be entertaining to watch. I don't know if people have been watching the Battle of the Atlantic. Was very entertaining, some good games. The promotional series for the LCS in North America and Europe have also been going on. Little harass coming on back and forth here in top lane between the two top laners. But some very entertaining matches over the weekend if you had a chance to watch them. I'm not going to spoil anything, so if you haven't seen them yet, then you can go ahead and check them out. But there were some pretty good matches. And it actually looks like Solo Mid is going to send their duo lane up into the top. And they're going to run the pretty standard 2v1 setup with Renekton going to bottom lane to 1v2. And then the Tristana and Annie pairing going to top. We also have a blue buff invade here as well from Solo Mid as they're heading off to this blue, and let's see if they're going to get this. So it is blue start, blue invade for Solo Mid in their jungle, and on the other side, a pretty standard red buff start for the jungle Lee Sin on Team TMQ, and I'm assuming Lee will just, Lee's going to head right over and take the blue, and it'll be pretty standard setup. Okay, so let's look at the players that we have in this game, the matchups in top lane. We have, for the Chinese player, what is this, TC Ackerman? Again, I'm afraid I don't know any of the players on LMQ, so I just don't know anything about them since they're brand new to the North American server. But TC Ackerman for LMQ playing as top lane Rengar, and if you didn't see Rengar in the Battle of the Atlantic, that's not because he was weak, it's because he was actually bugged in the patch that they were playing on. That is up against Wild Turtle playing as Tristana and X Special playing as support Annie. In mid, we are going to have Wei Zhao, who's playing for LMQ, playing as Ziggs, and Ziggs has been getting a lot of play recently, a very strong champion, playing against Bjergsen, who's playing as Gragas here for Solo Mid. In the bottom lane, then, we have for LMQ, we have TC Vasily, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, and TC Moore. I guess TC is their sponsor, so I guess it's just Vasily and Moore, playing here as Draven and support Leona. And they're getting some support here from the jungler, No Name, who I guess wants to remain anonymous, jungling as Lee Sin. Dyrus is the solo laner there. Anyway, we actually have a dive going on in top lane here, and oh my goodness, X Special makes it out on absolutely nothing. So the 3v1, jungler comes over, 3v1 tower dive. Solo Mid picks up first blood, and that's a huge early win for them. So both these towers are going to go down. Tower's going to go down in bot, tower's going to go down in top. But Solo Mid's going to get a kill and first blood out of it as well. So that's a big early game pickup for them. First blood's not worth quite as much as it used to be if you get it early on, but it's still a major advantage. And Dyrus, who could not hold his tower, is just roaming around the map, farming camps, basically. Essentially, he's become the jungler right now. And he's just roaming around taking camps. Now, LMQ is fighting back. They have the advantage. They have numbers on the bottom side of the map. No one from Solo Mid is anywhere on the bottom side of the map, so they're going to take the dragon here and get some gold. The early dragons also not worth as much as they used to be, so there we go. Top tower goes to Solo Mid. First dragon goes over to LMQ. And the net result of all that is LMQ actually comes out very slightly ahead by about 300 gold. Out of all of that. So it's pretty even overall. Not a huge advantage to either side, but LMQ coming out a little bit ahead because they were able to grab that dragon. in the process. And I think that they're a little bit behind in experience, particularly on Rengar, but they're ahead in gold. In any case, it's a slight lead to them. And they actually play, I mean, the way that what would have made that the best for them is if their Rengar player had simply left in top lane, if he had just been able to get out of there before the 3-man dive came, because then they would have been really, then they'd be over 1,000 gold ahead. But if he could somehow have managed to get out of there without giving up the first blood, that would have been a huge win. Anyway, now we're back to standard laning phase. So we've got Rengar against Renekton in the top lane, Ackerman against Dyrus in top lane. Both mid laners are still farming, but check out this. Wei Zhao is way ahead in mid lane. Way, way, way ahead in this matchup. Bjergsen has actually been getting bullied around. He's 20 CS behind at the 5-minute mark, and that shouldn't be happening. With so much action elsewhere, I didn't really have a chance to look at this, but yeah, Wei Zhao has just been dominating this matchup here in mid. I guess that's because Gragas' melee needs to get more levels before he can last hit effectively, needs more points in his Q before he can get those creeps, but Zig's very strong pick and has just been abusing that early on. And so now we're back to standard bottom lane, 2v2 setup in the bottom lane. Vasily and more against Wild Turtle and Egg Special. The way that this lane goes, in the way that this bottom 2v2 goes, is we actually have Lee Sin coming over for a gank, but he's walking over ward, so I'm assuming Sullla mid's bottom lane will be able to get out of this. The way that this bottom lane works is the Tristana Annie lane will eventually outscale the Draven Leona lane. Draven Leona is a really strong laning matchup. They're going to dominate the laning phase. They're going to be able to bully around that setup. Wow, and they're actually going after Lee Sin, but I don't know if they're going to get him. He's low, but I don't think he's going to fall. And X Special is that squishy support Annie. So a little bit too much aggression right there. A nice escape from No Name, managing to get out of that one. But that's a kill picked up for LMQ, and they're now about 1,000 gold ahead in this matchup. But anyway, to get back to the earlier point, yes, Draven and Leona will eventually fall behind. Their late game is not as good. Well, Leona's always going to be useful because of her crowd control, but Draven is going to be outscaled by Tristana. Trist is much weaker in the laning phase, but if this game goes to, like 50 minutes, then Tristana is going to be much stronger than Draven later on. So it's just sort of a matter of timing there. Wild Turtle needs to try and survive the laning phase. Anyway, we do have an Elise gank coming in here from the odd one, but it looks like LMQ is aware of this. No, actually not going to be able to dodge that cocoon. Leona's going to try to use her stun. Can Annie get in here and get her stun off? It does not look like it. Looks like Vasily and more are going to be able to escape from this one. So that's nicely played by their part, dodging the gank pressure from odd one's Elise. Mid lane, it's still not going well for Bjergsen. Or Bjergsen NA, as his name has right here. He's still getting dominated in this mid lane. He's still about 30 minion kills behind. And if we check out the gold total, yeah, he's 700 gold behind, and that's not good. That's not where he wants to be at all in this matchup. Similar builds coming out from both mid laners. They've both gone for the early Chalice of Harmony. And right here, in comes the Lee Sin. Bjergsen's going to have to flash over the wall. Out comes the Zig's ultimate. That's not quite enough damage. Bjergsen down to just over 100 HP, and that is going to be smited. Who ended up getting that? It looks like Odd One was able to win that smite war. Yes, was able to grab the blue, so prevents it from being stolen, but Sullla mid in a lot of trouble right now, especially on the bottom side of the map. They're getting pushed around here right now, and it's honestly not looking good. No Name is just putting a lot of pressure on right now. He's in their jungle. He's hide your kids, hide your wives. He's stealing their jungle camps, taking the wolves, forces a smite on the blue buff. Sullla mid did not want that blue to go over to Odd One. They really wanted it to go on Gragas. And meanwhile, on the other side, let's see, did Wei Zhao claim his blue yet? No, has not grabbed his blue. Who has the other blue buff right now? It's not on the map. Don't see who has that other blue right now. Well, in any case, that matchup's not going well for Sullla mid in the middle lane. Up here in top lane, it's fairly even. Neither one of these bruisers can really do that much to one another. They're both stacking armor. Dyrus has the chain vest. Ackerman has the chain vest and the cloth armor. So they're both at over 100 armor, and they can't really do that much. Here, though, Ackerman might be getting a little too aggressive. He's going to get stunned by the cocoon coming out from Elise, and he's going to get off the bola toss to slow down, but lost about half his health there. and it was not able to invade. There's the use of the red trinket, the sweeping lens, to remove another ward. And check out how many wards both teams have. The bottom side of the map is lit up like a Christmas tree. Red and blue wards everywhere from both teams. So it's still about where we were before. Ackerman's still about 1,000 gold ahead. It's been sitting right around 1,000 gold for some time now. Not too much difference. Down here in bottom lane, I'm actually impressed at how well Wild Turtle is doing in keeping up in farm. I mean, he is behind in this bottom lane, but not by much, in a laning matchup that really does not favor him. This is, like we said, a laning matchup that strongly favors LMQ down here. And Wild Turtle's pretty much even in farm, despite that. So it's a good sign for him that he's being able to keep up. Anyway, there's another cocoon going to land. Now Dyra's going to go in. Is this going to be enough damage to burst down No Name? He needs to be able to jump to something. Is he going to be able to get it? No, will fall right there. Nicely played. Really nice cocoon coming in from Odd1. Dyra's following it up, using his stun, popping the ultimate. Ignite was popped in there as well. So picking up the kill on the jungler. We'll see if that leads to anything around Dragon. Dragon's just about to respawn. Sullla mid will have a very brief window here while the enemy team's jungler is dead, while No Name is respawning. Probably not enough time to get over to Dragon, but do have a little bit of a positional edge there. LMQ will also have to deal with this top lane push at some point, and that may make it harder for them to fight for Dragon. We'll see. Anyway, more damage being traded in bottom lane. Draven is up, does have the BF sword compared just to Tristana's pickaxe, so has the edge there. Right now, we're going to see, can Sullla mid go in here and get a potential blue buff steal right now? They would love to pick this up for Bjergsen. Let's see if they can get this. Ackerman's in the area. Is he going to be able to take this with his bola? No, Bjergsen's going to grab that one, so that's a nice blue buff pickup. But while that's going on, LMQ is rotating for the dragon, and I don't think Sullla mid did not have the timer for this. They didn't know exactly when it was spawning, since it was taken by LMQ. There's a flash cocoon coming in, hits Leona, probably not the target that they wanted. Probably wanted to get that on Draven or Ziggs, so that's going to force a little bit of a backup, but we've got a 5v5 set up right here. This could be a huge team fight early in the game. Ward's coming out. Ackerman jumps in, needs to be able to get back to another brush, not going to be able to. Leona ult comes out, doesn't quite send anyone. Oh, X Special with a beautiful Annie ult, locking up 4 members of the team, but the first kill goes over to Draven in this one. Now can Leona get out? Moore is going to have to flash away. That cocoon misses, and Sullla mid still down. The flash over the wall by Dyrus goes in, gets the stun. Are they going to be able to pick this one up? Very, very low on both sides, and we're going to see Draven is the next one to fall. Wow, and Leona goes down as well. Another cocoon hits. Wow, everybody is really low on both teams. So that's 2 kills picked up there for Sullla mid, and the fight might not be over just yet, as they're still doing a bit of a standoff on mid lane. And it looks like that's going to be the sign to disengage. So overall, what was that, a 2-for-0 for Sullla mid in a very, very close fight. A lot of summoners burned on all sides right there. Still feel like the key play was the Annie ult that X Special was able to get off. Really, really nice Timber Stun hit, I think, 3 members of LMQ. A little hard to see. I'm not going to go back and rewind it. Unfortunately, this is not the LCS. We don't have the picture-in-picture play-by-play replay. But looked like that was kind of the biggest play in that fight, since it did look like it locked up quite a few members of LMQ. Still a very, very close fight. Nobody taking Dragon. Still sitting there. You can check the Fog of War. There it is. Still hanging out right there. And because Sullla mid was slower to back, LMQ looks like they have position to take this. So they may well end up getting this, even though they kind of lost the 5v5. Let's see. The Dragon still hasn't gone down yet. There it is. The health getting burned down. And there it is. Going to be taking nice use of the smite by No Name, the Lee Sin jungler. So going to grab that, and that keeps us, after all that action, right about where we were before, right about a 1,000 gold lead for LMQ in a very close, very tight game. As I said, I haven't seen this before, but it's a darn good game, and a pretty high level of play by both teams too. I haven't seen anything too stupid done by either teams. Anyway, Sullla mid going for the sneaky play here. They want to try to get Elise into the brush down here, and it looks like they've done that successfully. Yeah, no vision. There's a Timber Stun following up with the Elise cocoon. That should be a kill. Yes, there it is. Now the rocket jump, the reset on Wild Turtle, but he is going to get that. Wow, I thought he was going to die. He was on 1 auto attack, but pulled out the Buster shot at the last second. And Ernest Elf Tristana claiming the double kill. That's a huge play for Sullla mid in this game, getting 2 kills on Tristana. Triss might not be Kassadin in terms of getting early kills, but if you can advance her in her build, Wild Turtle appears to be going for the Infinity Edge rush, which is sort of the slow mid game but a really strong late game build. If you can advance that, oh, we got a Draven Axe coming out, and oh, Turtle's gonna jump out of the way. Manages to escape with the rocket jump right there. Did not have barrier up, so could not pop barrier to survive that. Anyway, if you can advance Trist along to her late game faster, then Then she's going to become that late game 5 or 6 item 700 range auto attack damage carry that much sooner. And yeah, is indeed going for that Last Whisper. Here in top lane, still just a brawl going on. Looks like Dyrus is getting the better of this, though. He is pretty far ahead. He's about 30 CS ahead, and he did pick up 2 kills in some of that earlier action that we saw. So Dyrus seems to be getting the edge. He's finished his Sunfire Cape. Ackerman is still working on his Sunfire. Dyrus just rushing... didn't just straight rush the Sunfire. Did pick up both the Doran's Shield and the Doran's Blade, but actually does not have boots yet. So not really that necessary on Renekton. You're going to want to get him at some point, but he is 345 movement speed, even without boots. Relies on slice and dice to get out of stuff. So yeah, early Sunfire, and he's sitting in pretty good shape. Obviously that tower went down very early on with the 3-man die that Sullla mid pulled out the early stages of the game. So looking pretty good here in that top lane. Now mid still being won by Wei Zhao, still is ahead, has finished his Unholy Grail. On the other side, Bjergsen also finished his Unholy Grail, but has no boots compared to the Cirque shoes on Wei Zhao. So that's where the advantage is. So the extra movement and the extra magic penetration with those Cirque shoes. Alrighty, so what's going on down here in bottom lane? Turtle going to get engaged upon by Vasily, and I don't think he can win this duel, not this early in the game. Does manage to bait out the barrier from Vasily right there, and we actually just saw, a Leona skill shot missing on X Special. But Turtle can't really 1v1 at this point. He has not finished his Infinity Edge. Vasily has finished a Bloodthirster. Way more attack damage. The Draven Axe is coming out, just barely missing, but a lot of pressure in this bottom lane coming out from Team LMQ. Meanwhile, Sullla mid is pressuring around mid, but let's keep the focus down here in bottom lane for right now. Yeah, Draven just dealing a lot of damage, and let's see what's going on here in mid. It's a 3v2 in mid and a 2v0 in bot lane because Sullla mid's bot had to run out of there. So TSM losing their inner tower in bottom lane. And that's more or less going to pull this match back to even once again. Pretty much dead even in gold. Very slight edge for Sullla mid right now. And Sullla mid's not going to be able to steal that blue buff. That one is indeed going to go over to Wei Zhao. So Ziggs is going to have that blue. Just a little bit too late on the rotation coming in. Bjergsen using that time to get a little bit of pressure there in mid. A little bit of damage on that mid tower. And the endless brawl continues in top lane. Neither one of these two can really hurt one another. Ackerman has finished his Sunfire Cape as well. So that's going to help him out in that laning matchup. Dyrus is sitting on, quite a bit of gold. Probably spend that sometime soon. So we're kind of in maybe a little bit of a lull in the game right now. Sullla mid's ahead in kills, but it's even in towers. And LMQ's gotten the Dragon. So that's a really nice use of the Leona ult right there, and that's going to be enough to pick up the kill. Really well done by Moore, using his Solar Flare to go in, lock up the Gragas player in mid, lock up Bjergsen, pick up that kill. Now that is going to be the signal for Turtle and X Special to push down here in bottom lane because Leona was not there, and that means that Draven's by himself, but still well worth it getting a kill in that mid lane. And this is honestly the first time that I've seen the new Sullla mid lineup getting bullied around in mid the way that this is happening. Certainly we're not bullied around this way in their Battle of the Atlantic matchup, although that isn't really fair since they didn't have the hardest matchup. But yeah, Bjergsen, the first time I've kind of seen him since he's been playing with Sullla mid, and admittedly that hasn't been too long, really getting bullied around in mid has been pretty clearly outplayed by Wei Zhao here on Ziggs. So I'm assuming that when they played their next match, we were probably going to be either a Ziggs ban or focus on a Ziggs pick from Sullla mid, because they have not enjoyed Wei Zhao's Ziggs in this game. And that has actually given Team LMQ a very slight advantage, a 100 gold edge, which really doesn't mean anything. So it's very much anyone's game at this point. I will say that Sullla mid does have the advantage of having a Tristana on their team. Whenever you have somebody like Tristana or Vayne or Kog'Maw, you always feel like you've got a shot because your late game is so strong. Tristana will outscale Draven as the game goes on. So, let's see, mid, fairly even. Both of these are pretty good scaling champs. Ziggs is probably a little bit better scaling late game than Gragas. Top lane, Rengar's a little bit better late game than Renekton. Not by a ton, but a little bit. And in the jungle, I'd say it's fairly even. Maybe Elise is a little bit better because she's got the percentage damage. But anyway, the biggest edge is really the Trist late game for Sullla mid. But of course, that's not really that big. It's just who's going to be able to execute better. Anyway, we have another dragon up. Got another dragon fight coming out for sure. Dyrus is coming down from top lane. Ackerman's on his way down as well. And Sullla mid's already dropped a pink in the dragon pit. and they're using it to clear out some of the wards. But we should see another big brawl here, and this could be a hugely important fight in determining the game. We had a big dragon fight last time, didn't end up really changing that much. And wow, look at all the poke coming out. We've got the Ziggs ult and the Draven ult flying over the wall, but Sullla mid did claim that dragon. Why were they able to get that one? It's because Ackerman was a little bit slow in rotating down from top lane. Dyrus has done a good job of keeping the pressure on, but Team LMQ in very good position to get this mid tower. Let's see how well Sullla mid can wave clear. They have caught Rengar under the tower, and his stealth will not work under the tower because he is revealed, so that's going to be a kill picked up. Very nice cocoon again from On1. He is very good on Elise. Cocoon's just spot on. In some of the promotional matches for the LCS, saw some of the challenger level players trying to experiment with Elise and not having as much success, but those Cocoons really, really strong. And that stun's going to land on Wei Zhao. Tibbers a little bit misused there, I think. Got the stun and then looked like X Special kind of missed with Tibbers there from what I could see. We'd have to go back and watch again. So we're able to get the stun on Wei Zhao. They get his barrier out, not his flash though. But in any case, that means he'll be a little bit less safe. And some nice play coming up from Sullla mid, not just to get the dragon, but then to defend their mid tower as well. They were a little bit out of position, but they rotated back over, defended the mid tower, and got another kill. And yes, Rengar, of course, cannot stealth when he's right under the tower, which is how Rengar usually gets out of stuff. You know, he pops his Thrill of the Hunt, and then he goes invisible. But when you're standing right next to a tower of the enemy team, obviously they can still see you, and that's not going to work. And by the way, look at these wards. Check out these blue wards on the minimap. There is just a thicket of blue wards in the dragon area, but unfortunately for LMQ, they were not able to pick up that dragon. And Sullla mid is now about 1,500 gold ahead. Not a huge lead, but a little bit of one, and I'm sure that that's one that they're happy to get. And right now, Sullla mid continuing to push in middle lane. The wave clear coming out, though, that Ziggs ult and Draven ult hitting the minions, but there are Spiderlings there to tank, and Sullla mid's going to grab this. So they just took advantage of everyone on LMQ backing to go ahead and grab an objective. Everybody on LMQ was back at base healing. They probably needed just to keep, you know, someone like Ziggs in mid and stagger their backs, but we're not able to do that, and so it's a free tower pickup for Team Sullla mid, and they're now about just over 2,000 gold ahead. Now, LMQ is grouped up. They now have the edge in mid, and they should be able to get this tower on the return. So tower for a tower essentially traded right there. Wow, Dyrus just got back to base, so that's not really going to change that much. But both towers down, the map's starting to open up. 3 towers down for either side. Both teams actually have 2 towers down in one lane and 0 towers down in another lane. So Sullla mid has, oh, wait, no, that's not true. Sullla mid has all the outer towers, and LMQ has both bottom towers. The inner tower is down in bottom lane, excuse me. Alrighty, and overall, what is it? It's about a 1,500 gold lead for Team Sullla mid. Still very, very close. Let's look at some of the items that have been finished while we've got a brief lull in the game here. So Dyrus, very standard, tanky, top lane, bruiser build. Sunfire Cape into Spirit Massage. Spirit Massage, very nice on Renekton, can use all of the advantage, all of the stuff that it gives you. Cooldown reduction, health, magic resist, and even the self-healing works pretty well with Call the Meek. So all good stuff. On the other side, Ackerman, let's see, what does he have? Has the Sunfire Cape, appears to be going, looks like he's going for the Spirit Massage as well. Yeah, going for the Spirit Massage as well. Hasn't quite gotten there yet. Let's check out the mid laners. On Bjergsen, he has gone for Unholy Grail into Death Cap. That's a pretty standard Gragas build, assuming that the next build... Wow, he still doesn't have boots, though. Check it out, no boots. I think he maybe should have gotten the Sork shoes in there. I know Gragas is high mobility, but maybe should have gotten the Sork, at least boots of some kind. In any case, we'll probably be going for Void Staff next. And Wei Zhao, same thing, exact same build, Unholy Grail into Death Cap, and he's got the Sorcerer's Shoes. That's a very standard build. Expect both of them to get the Void Staff as their next items. Let's see, junglers, what have junglers got? Odd One has built the Ancient Golem, and then, interesting, gone for the Haunting Guys. Kind of an interesting item choice, but does work for Elise. Has chosen to go for a little bit more damage instead of a little bit more team aura is sort of the idea there, instead of going for like a locket, well, not a locket, an Aegis instead. And right now, we check more items in a minute, but Dyrus overextending here in top, getting ganked by 3 members of LMQ, and I don't think he's going to make it out of here. No, actually 4 members. He flashes over the wall, though, but I still don't think he's going to be able to get out of here, and the Draven ult is going to claim that one. So, yeah, that was, you know, you want to play like a lane bully when you're Renekton, but you have to watch out. And wow, look at this, LMQ going straight to Baron. Does Sullla mid have vision of this? No, they do not. They may have seen them walking over this ward, though, on their way in. Let's keep an eye on this Baron, down to 6,000 health. The Leona ult going to come out, and Bjergsen's going to get absolutely chunked. He goes down. He's going to fall. No Name, though, falls to Annie. So X Special's going to grab this one. Now Turtle's here. Can Turtle clean this up? Remember, he is Tristana. That's 1 kill. It's a kill, though, for Ziggs as well. That's 2 kills. Now Turtle's going to get the reset. He's going to jump out, but he will fall as well. X Special running for his life. A girl and her little bear trying to make it out of there. The stand aside misses from Draven. Can he hit one more axe to finish this one off? Oh, he's chasing after it. Yes, does get it. And is that an ace? It's a delayed ace. Not a full ace because Dyrus had revived, but a delayed ace. And that is a 5 for 3 in the bigger picture for LMQ. A good fight for them. So they made a very aggressive play in going for that Baron. They weren't able to get it, but they did score some valuable kills. And I have to say, came out ahead from all that action. So they have basically, yeah, evened the game right up again. 200 gold difference. And this is indeed a very, very good game. So Dyrus just a little bit too far overextended, a little bit out of position. And that's enough for LMQ to force a series of team fights that really caught them right back up in the game from being down, what was it, about 1,500 gold before? So it just goes to show when you're playing with good players and you know, in a serious team environment, you make a mistake and teams can take advantage of it. Anyway, right now Dyrus is trying to pull attention to the top lane, and he has indeed drawn attention. Sullla mid is in position to take that dragon, so Dyrus is trying to get his team this dragon. Let's see if he could somehow manage to get out of this. That would be huge. He's going to get stunned out. He's going to get kicked by Lee Sin, the Dragon's Rage, and he will fall again. But that's not a bad trade this time. The first death wasn't so good because that caused that didn't really lead Sullla mid to get an objective. This time they're able to take the dragon, so it's not as bad. They are going to lose this top tower presumably. So overall, is that a good trade? Not so sure, but it's not a terrible trade. So they traded top tower and a kill for a dragon. I would probably rather have... but now Wei Zhao's in all kinds of trouble. He's going to get jumped on by the full Sullla mid team. He is going to go down, and the shutdown gold as well. Wild Turtle's going to get the reset. He's going to jump out, but now can Bjergsen manage to make it out of here? He needs that body slam to come off cooldown. That cocoon is going to fly through. Sullla mid looking to get some damage on this mid tower. I don't think they're going to get it because there's too many members of LMQ here. But TSM responding with a kill and some damage on the tower. So who comes out ahead from that whole sequence? It's pretty even. What is that whole... Oh, wow. Now Turtle going in again. He does have the red buff. Very aggressive rocket jump forward. Anytime you see Triss just wildly throwing herself forward into the enemy team, if you're the support and you got to keep that Triss safe, your heart skips a beat when you see Triss just jumping right forward into the middle of the enemy team. But Turtle apparently knows what he's doing. He is having a magnificent game, 5-1-4 overall, and that bottom lane has really been the strength of Sullla mid in this game. Dyrus has been doing well. Dyrus has won his lane, but Bjergsen has not had a particularly good game. So it's really been more about the jungle play and the bottom lane that Sullla mid's leaning on. Meanwhile, for LMQ, they've been leaning on the mid lane because Wei Zhao has been doing really, really well. He is 3-1-2, but it's not even the 3-1-2. He's on 300 CS, and he does grab that blue buff there using the bomb, plus not the Q to grab that one. The bouncing bomb. But yeah, having a really good game. Let's check the gold totals quickly. You can see right here 11,000. But wow, Draven, even more gold. The Draven passive is kicking in for Vasily. I didn't realize he had that much gold because, I mean, he's 100 less and 100 CS lower. But the Draven passive on some of these kills, 12,000 gold. Most in the game right now. Yeah, most in the game by a wide margin. In contrast to that, the Lee Sin jungle is way behind. He's almost 3,000 gold behind in the jungle matchup. And that's where the biggest edge for Sullla mid is actually in the jungle. Odd One's having a very, very nice game. And Sullla mid's also ahead in the top lane as well. So what's on those ADs? Just while we've got a minute here, there's not too much going on. Well, Wild Turtle went for his Infinity Edge, then got a Static Shiv. Looks like he's building Last Whisper right now. He's level 14. His attack range, where is the range? Here it is, 667, so he's already past Caitlyn attack range, going up towards that 700 range. Vasily on the Draven, he went Bloodthirster. I believe he then went Phantom Dancer, now Infinity Edge. Presumably going for that Last Whisper next, but anytime you've got Bloodthirster and Infinity Edge, that is a lot of AD. Let's check out the damage on those spinning axes. Yeah, 270 bonus physical damage on top of the 317, so that's, 500 something damage. And then he can crit on, then he's got good crit chance too. What's his crit chance? 55% from the Phantom Dancer and the IES. Then he's got a 55% chance to crit too on top of that. So, oh boy, you don't want to get hit by those Draven axes. The big question is, will he be able to catch those axes in the team fights? And there's a pickaxe. So he's about halfway to Last Whisper as well. Alrighty, so yeah, I mean, it's a good game overall. What is it, 300, 400 gold lead for Team Sullla mid. Nobody's taken Baron yet. 11-9 in kills, 4-3 in towers in favor of LMQ. it is a very, very good game, and this is a good sign for LMQ if that they can come into North America and immediately be going toe-to-toe with one of North America's best teams here in one of the in sort of this very impromptu series. Again, this was just matched up in team ranked 5s. Just these guys just happened to get matched up. Anyway, there's an initiation. The Ziggs ult coming up, and the Ziggs ult will miss. Oh, and a great dodge of the Leona ult by World Turtle. He rocket jumped out of that one. No, actually used flash there. Saw his flash coming up, but dodges the Leona Solar Flare, and that's a lot of ults down right now for LMQ. We'll see if Solo Mid decides to try and push this and force the action while 2 fairly big ults are down. Rengar ult came out as well, so he doesn't have his ult, and the Draven ult came out as well, so that's 4 ults down right now. And this really does give Team Solo Mid an opportunity to try and do something. And it looks like they're going to try to put some pressure on Baron. Now, do they have vision of this? No, actually do not have vision on the Baron pit itself. They do not know that Turtle and Odd One are doing this. Turtle hitting it over the wall with that extra range. And I think they're going to get this one down to just 2,000 health. Rengar's coming in, but he's not going to make this in time. Baron goes down. That is a cheeky Baron pulled out by Solo Mid. And they still might want to fight this. Let's see, the Gragas Cask hits quite a few members of the team. They've done a great job of splitting up LMQ. No Name's going to get over the wall, but Rengar in all kinds of trouble. He is revealed by that pink ward. He is going to fall to the Ignite now down over here. Wild Turtle has picked up 1 kill. Going to get the reset. Can he pick up another kill? Just needs 1 more auto attack. Yes, gets another one. Rocket jumps back into the team. That's a double kill. X Special picking up a kill on Leona while all that's going on. That's a 4 for 0 and a Baron. And Solo Mid has seized control of this one, grabbing control of the game off of that huge sequence of plays. They just managed to sneak that Baron, and then they kind of caught LMQ running in to check the Baron pit. And did a really nice job. The Gragas Cask coming out from Bjergsen did a good job of splitting LMQ. They kind of had, what was it, Rengar and I think it was Leona maybe? Or Rengar and someone else got split way far away from the rest of the team up here. 2 members of the team up here. Then the other 3 members of the team split off down here. And the front line, the tanks just crumbled. And then Wild Turtle was able to get a couple of resets and be able to rocket jump multiple times. And yeah, he's getting to be a pretty strong Trist right now. 7-1-4 on the game with the Baron buff, extra damage coming in. And what did he just pick up? He just got his, what was he just got his last Whisper, I think? I think he just finished his last Whisper here. Or maybe not. No, actually, he didn't buy anything. He's sitting on 2,500 gold. Anyway, he had the last Whisper. But anyway, really good fight for Team Sullla Mid. They're now 6,000 gold ahead, and they have the Baron. They were able to claim the mid inhibitor, although the mid inhib being down is not that huge of a deal anymore. The super minions don't push as remember the super minions or there's no pushing in side lanes anymore. And Sullla Mid, a little bit of a risky play here. Bjergsen split out in top lane by himself, and the rest of Sullla Mid not really here. Dyer's forced to flash over the wall. I'm not sure that they really want to get caught in a fight right now while they have Gragas in top, and Trist was not there either. Now they're finally grouping up, but that was a very, very risky moment for them. LMQ still hanging around out here in mid lane. Dragon goes down, more gold picked up for Sullla Mid. That's going to extend their lead to about 7,000 gold, a little bit higher than that right now on the game. But Bjergsen, I mean, typically you don't see Gragas split pushing. He kind of is usually with the rest of the team because his ult's so good for team fighting. Kind of an odd play here. Now Dyrus going forward. I mean, you do want Renekton in the front line, but he can't be too far forward to the rest of the team. No Name in a little bit of trouble. Can they get that stun on him? Yes, going to get stunned out. The casket, oh, going to miss a really nice step aside from No Name. He did not try to, Bjergsen assumed he was going to step back towards his tower. He did not actually step further away, dodging the explosive cask, and manages to escape on low health, but does get out of there. Blue buff looking to be taken by TSM here. Bjergsen's going to claim that, and now they have exactly what you want for late game, which is a level 17 Tristana who can just poke those towers down incredibly well. No one actually, I don't think there's a single champion in the game that pokes towers down better than a level 18 Tristana on a 4-item build. Actually, wow, that's kind of an interesting item. Turtle went for Blade of the Ruined King. A little bit unusual. Actually, Rengar's running in stealth right now. Let's keep an eye on this right now. Sullla Mid's trying to disengage. Ackerman actually getting shredded pretty hard right now. Stand Aside comes out from Draven. And oh, Turtle puts on the barrier, but it's not enough. Wei Zhao gets the kill from downtown. And this has turned into a bad fight for Sullla Mid all of a sudden. Bjergsen going down as well. X Special tries to get the kill on Vasily. He's not going to get it. Draven is still alive. Dyrus is going to fall as well. Odd One now just suiciding, trying to get that kill on Draven. He doesn't get it. That's an ace. A 5-for-1 kill for LMQ, and they have put themselves right back in this game. Still a little bit behind the 8 ball because they've taken a lot of damage to their base, but that was a dream fight for them. Everybody on Sullla mid diving after Draven, none of them getting to him, and Vasily staying alive in that fight, just shredding the team with his axes. I mean, the key thing to that fight was Turtle just died at the start of the fight. He tried to barrier, but it wasn't enough. He got taken out by the Super Mega Inferno Bomb. Is that what it's called? Mega Inferno Bomb. Sorry, there's no super in there, but got taken out by the Mega Inferno Bomb coming out from Ziggs and just went down. And as soon as that happened, Sullla mid did not really have the damage to stick in that fight. Once they lost Tristana, they lost Trist, they lost Gragas, and well, once the 2 carries go down, it's pretty hard to win a team fight, especially when you're under the enemy team's tower tanking it up. So this game very much back in play again. I mean, yes, there's still, you know, still a gold lead, but a 4,000 gold lead is not that huge at the 35-minute mark we're about. Not that huge. I mean, it's going to be much more about which teams can keep their carries safe. Basically, it's about whether LMQ can keep Ziggs and Draven safe, and for TSM, it's about keeping Gragas and Tristana safe. I mean, that's really what it comes down to in these fights. Both Renekton and Rengar are pretty much just gone straight tank. I mean, sometimes people like build the Hydra on Rengar, and he'll be like an assassin, but not this game. He has really no damage. He's all tankiness. Sunfire, Thornmail, and Spirit Massage. He's just pure tank Rengar, so he's not really going to be jumping in and assassinating people. I mean, sure, maybe if he catches out Tristana 1v1, but not really an assassin build here. Much more about tanky frontline as far as this game goes. Leona, of course, is building tanky. I do like the pickup of the Mikhail's Crucible. That's a very nice way of defending against the Annie stun. Can use Mikhail's to basically unfreeze somebody who gets hit by Tibbers. Nice item pickup there. On the other side, X Special going more of a damage focused build. Yes, he's got the Talisman of Ascension. That's basically the Shirelius Reverie. Gives you the speed boost, and he's got the Sight Stone, but then went for Leandries. So yeah, ability power and health. Went for the damage build. Anyway, right now, we'll get back to items in a minute. LMQ feeling it right now. They are pushing right now, and pushing quite aggressively. They actually saw that Bjergsen was up in top lane on Gragas, and thought we're looking for an opportunity to go for this tower. And this is one area where Ziggs really shines. His great poke, really good sieging capability. Wei Zhao does not have a blue buff right now, but he does have a blue pot, a blue elixir. Has finished a Zanya's to go along with his Void Staff, and be the exact same items around Gragas as well. Wei Zhao, though, 400 CS at the 36-minute mark. That is pretty disgusting. Has not missed many minions, let's just put it that way. He's been taking a lot of farm. Anyway, Baron's going to be up in 30 seconds. That could be a big moment. Dyrus is running very aggressively into the enemy team's jungle. Maybe trying to get some vision down here. And for right now, LMQ kind of getting scared off right now. Kind of getting... going back to base. I guess they're going back to spend gold. They may not have the timer on this Baron. I'm not sure if they realize it's about to spawn in like 5 seconds, because I can't imagine they'd all be going back to base when it's going to spawn. Sullla mid might just be able to get this before LMQ can get back here. I mean, Lee Sin's on his way back, but this Baron is not going to take very long to fall at all. Sullla mid can probably do it in about 7 or 8 seconds. And it's going down. The Leona Solar Flare comes in, but no, it is too late. The Ziggs all coming in. Ziggs all kind of missing, though. Ackerman's in the middle of the team. Just watch the 2 carries in this fight and to see what's going to happen. The Gragas barrel flying out right now. Ackerman getting engaged upon, yeah, and it looks like LMQ was just too late in getting to this Baron. No name going to fall. Draven's there, but he's going to get buster shotted away by Tristana. Bjergsen is very, very low, but that was another great fight for Sullla mid. They go 3 for 0. They claim the Baron. That's exactly what they wanted right there. Wild Turtle went quite low in that fight, but did manage to survive, and I'm not really sure why he's out here by himself. I don't think he wants to pick this fight. That's very, very dangerous. The rest of the team going back and healing. But a great fight. Again, I don't think that LMQ knew exactly when that Baron was spawning. Remember, they weren't there when Sullla mid killed it before. Because Sullla mid took the first Baron, they didn't have an exact timer. I think they were off by about 5 seconds, but that 5 seconds might be the difference in this game, because that was enough time for Sullla mid to burst it down, and then to be able to be in position to clean up LMQ when they came in. As I said, the Ziggs all kind of missed, didn't really get the damage they wanted. And wow, look at the range on Wild Turtle. He is able to stand so far away to hit that inhib. 703 range. That's the same range that Jinx has with her what is it, her rocket launcher. But Tristana can get that on every single auto attack. Doesn't need to be using mana, and is able to take advantage of all that attack speed. We might have another fight here. Ackerman going to get engaged on Turtle, going to have to jump away, but he does stay safe for the moment. That's a much better Ziggs bomb. Gragas cast coming out, exploding people backwards. The 2 carries for Sullla mid are still safe back here in the back of the fight. A nice escape by Wild Turtle. He didn't deal a lot of damage in that fight, but he did stay alive. Bjergsen with a nice Gragas cask to keep the team alive. And, of course, X-Special landing another very nice tib result in the middle of all that. Don't give the supports enough credit a lot of the time, but another really nice anti-ult in the middle of all that. Anyway, they were able to get Draven in that fight. I did not see where Draven's positioning was exactly, but without Draven, it's going to be very hard to hold this. And now the stun's coming out. Oh, chain stuns on Ackerman. Goes down right there. Ottawan's going to escape up on the rappel. Can he manage to get out of this? Yes. Beautiful use of the chain stuns. I believe that started with either an Elise Cocoon or a Renekton, Ruthless Predator. One of those two. Turtle, though, in a lot of trouble. Needs to get over that wall. There's the cooldown. Oh, but Wei Zhao's still going to get him anyway. I think that was an auto attack right there with the Ziggs passive. Still managed to claim that one. So Turtle playing a little bit dangerous. And TSM's going to have to get out of this one. They did get 2 inhibs, so it was a very successful push. But they probably wish that they had managed to get Tristana out of there, because they're not going to be able to push for another 40 seconds until Tristana is able to respawn. But they will claim Baron. They're going to continue, or not Baron, going to claim Dragon here. Will keep building their lead. Did they take the blue? No, blue was not up. They went over to check the blue buff, but it wasn't up. Grab Dragon, and they're about, what, about 12,000, a little bit less than 12,000 gold ahead right now. In very comfortable shape. Now we're going to look to just group up, push this bottom lane, let the super minions work for them in top and in mid. Group up, go for that bottom tower while they still have Baron buff on 4 of their 5 members. And if they play this correctly, they should be able to finish this game off. By the way, this is indeed Season 4. Check out the Void Staff coming out from X-Special. He's got 220 ability power and a lot of magic pen. So his damage is not negligible. He is not just a stun bot. He actually does deal a lot of damage. And it's an interesting contrast to Moore, who's gone for tanky Leona, and he actually is quite tanky with his Face of the Mountain, his Mikhails, and it looks like he's building towards an Aegis, I think. Not 100%, but I think he's going towards that. In any case, though, Sullla is rotating down here towards the bottom lane. Turtle has picked up his red buff, is on his way down there. Level 18 Tristana on a 6-item build. His final item is the Mercurial Scimitar, so he does have the free cleanse if he would get hit by some kind of crowd control. Can cleanse, basically that's mostly for the Leona ults, can use that. And again, was kind of forced into it by the fact that X-Special did not build Mikhail's Crucible, went for a damage build on Annie instead of a more support-oriented build. So forces Turtle to get the Mercurial Scimitar, but that's not necessarily a bad item build. And anyway, so Sullla grouping up, pushing here in the bottom lane. Note the super minions flooding into top lane. LMQ's going to have to do something, and Ackerman looks like he wants to be the one to engage. He's going to jump in on Bjergsen. Bjergsen's going to use his Zanyas, though. No Name getting blown up so fast. Bjergsen takes a ton of damage, but he does not fall. Still alive in the back lane. Keep an eye on Turtle. Is just auto-attacking, ripping through people. He gets the double kill. The fight still continuing underneath the tower. Tower not even really damaging people at this stage of the game. Turtle jumping in again. Dyrus gets the kill. Down goes Draven as well. Turtle still jumping around, gets the triple kill, and when the dust settles, Wei Zhao's the only one still left standing. He can't defend this. This should be the end of the game. This should be GG. I haven't seen this before, but I'd be hard-pressed to think that Wei Zhao can hold off 8,000 super minions and all 5 members of Team Sullla. So that's going to be the second Nexus tower. The Nexus is exposed. Can Wei Zhao get a kill on Dyrus? Yes, he does manage to pick it up. Bjergsen will get some retribution, picks up a kill at the end. But that's going to be it, and Team Sullla TSM does come out ahead in this game. Very, very well played. LMQ looking very strong. I mean, they didn't win this game, but they were going toe-to-toe with TSM for most of the game. And honestly, they just lost it based on the 2 plays around Baron. When they gave up that first Baron, that Sullla really just snuck. I mean, they had Odd One in the Baron pit. They had Turtle over the wall. LMQ just kind of got caught by surprise. They didn't think that they were going to be, taking that Baron. So they gave up the Baron, lost that first one, and then because they lost the first Baron, they didn't have the timer for the second one and just got there really, I'd say about 2 to 3 seconds too late, and that was enough to be the difference in the game. But really, really strong play. Both Wei Zhao and Vasily had really, really good games. I didn't think Ackerman's Rengar was as effective, and their jungler, No Name, was not terribly effective in this game as well. But their mid and their bot lane looked very, very good in this one. So anyway, that's only game 1 out of 3 in this series. So check back tomorrow. I will put up game 2 of this series, unofficial series, not a true best of 3, but we'll put up game 2. And if it's as good as this one, it should be worth watching. So until next time, hope everybody's enjoying the holidays. I'll see you guys soon. Until then, take care.